I saw my girlfriend kissing a stranger at a barbecue, so I told her to move out that night. I knew it was over while I was holding a plate of hot dogs that were basically black. We were at Greg's backyard barbecue, and Claire said she'd run inside to grab napkins. I looked up through the kitchen window, and there she was, pinned against the counter, kissing some tall guy with dark hair I'd never seen before. It wasn't a quick peck either. His hands were on her waist like he belonged there. For a second I just froze, because my brain kept trying to turn it into something else, like maybe I was seeing it wrong. Then she tilted her head, and I saw enough to know I wasn't wrong. And the strange part was, I didn't feel angry. I felt this relief, like my chest finally unclenched. For 3 weeks, she'd been acting off. Late nights at her marketing job, her phone face down at dinner, smiling at texts and then saying, "Nothing, just work." Tuesdays, she'd started yoga, but she'd come home with wet hair and a shower smell, like she'd washed something off. I kept telling myself I was being paranoid. My friends told me to relax, that couples go through phases. Standing there with burnt hot dogs and charcoal in my nose, I knew my gut was right. I took a breath, walked back, and set them by the potato salad like nothing happened. I opened a cold beer from the cooler and forced my face to stay normal. My stomach kept flipping, but I kept smiling. Greg's cousins from Ohio were talking about the heat, so I stepped in and laughed at the right moments. Every few minutes my eyes drifted to that window, but I didn't rush in. I didn't make a scene. I just watched people talk, watched kids run through the grass, and waited for Claire to walk out like she hadn't been pressed against that counter 2 minutes ago. Rebecca, Greg's wife, came over with that hostess smile and said, "Hey, where's Claire? I need her to help with the cupcakes." I lifted my beer and said, "She's inside, grabbing napkins." Rebecca nodded and moved on, totally clueless. A few minutes later, someone yelled that Greg's neighbor had brought homemade ice cream, and everybody turned toward the gate. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the back door crack open. The mystery guy slipped out, head down, moving fast along the side of the house, past the grill. Claire didn't follow him. She stayed inside a little longer, like she was trying to fix her face in the mirror. When she finally came out, she looked like she'd run a mile. Her lipstick was gone, her hair was messy, and she had that shiny, guilty look in her eyes. She walked straight to me with this too bright smile. "Sorry, babe," she said, touching my arm like we were fine. "Someone spilled wine on the counter and I was helping clean it up. You know me, I can't leave a mess." I nodded like I believed her. "Wow," I said, calm as I could. "That's really thoughtful." She blinked, waiting for me to ask questions, waiting for my jealous routine. I didn't give her anything. We stayed there another hour. I joked with the guys about Greg burning the burgers. I asked one cousin what part of Ohio he was from. The whole time I could feel Claire watching me, checking my face, checking her phone, tapping her foot. She kept leaning in to whisper, "Do you want to head out?" like she was scared of being trapped. I smiled and said, "In a bit." Each time I said it, her shoulders tightened. On the drive home in my Honda, the car was quiet except for the turn signal and the road noise. Claire couldn't handle it. "You're being weird tonight," she said. "Are you mad? Did someone tell you something?" I pulled into our driveway and turned off the engine. The silence after that click was loud. I stared at our apartment building for a second, then I looked at her. "Claire," I said, and my voice sounded steady even though my hands felt cold. "I saw you in the kitchen." Her face lost all color. She opened her mouth, then closed it, like her brain hit a wall. I kept going before she could start spinning a story. "I'm not going to yell," I said. "I'm not even shocked. I've been feeling something was wrong for weeks. Seeing it just made it clear." Tears jumped into her eyes fast. "It meant nothing," she said, shaking her head. "I was drunk. I don't even know his name. Please, it was stupid." She reached for my arm and I pulled back. "Stop," I said. "Don't touch me like this is fixable." She started crying harder, breathy and messy. I watched her for a second, not because I wanted to comfort her, but because I wanted to be sure I was done. "The lease is in my name," I said. "You're going to pack your stuff and be out by Sunday." She made a small sound like she couldn't breathe. "You can't just do that," she said. "Where am I supposed to go?" I opened my door and put one foot out onto the driveway. "That's for you to figure out," I said. Then I shut the car door behind me and walked toward the stairs without looking back. Now my friends are saying I was cold for staying calm. Was I wrong?